Great.
Okay, well, here we go. We're going to get started on our next runner, who's going to be Lonerhero, and he's going to be playing Devil May Cry 2, the new game Dante. So, without further ado, I introduce Lonerhero.
Hi everyone, I'm Lonerhero, and I've been running this game for almost 3 years now. I also run other games such as Ninja Gaiden, Onimusha, and pretty much almost the rest of the DMC series, just to be precise. This game is actually basically Dark Souls, Red Tear Stone type of a run, if you know what I mean. Like, it also shares some of the similarity with the DMC one. Uh, Followed by here, we have a good friend of mine, D Cosmic. You could start introducing yourself, Cosmic.
Hello, my name is DE Cosmic and I speedrun the entire Devil May Cry series. This was the first game that I did speedrun. Loner and I have been working on optimizations for this game for a pretty long time, and I'm excited to show it off for y'all. I will be your primary host for the shenanigans that are about to happen, so I guess we should probably get started, huh?
Yeah,
Just before we go ahead, can we please raise Cosmic's audio?
Sure.
Should I just talk louder? I could probably just talk louder.
Okay, I mean, sure thing. I'll just raise your volume just to save the troubles, you
Okay,
know.
yep, go for it.
Yeah, I'll just let's just put you up into 150.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yep, that sounds better. So we can start the run now. I'm gonna count down to 3 and then time. Like, the moment you hear a gunshot is the time. So 3, 2, 1. Devil May Cry. And that's
Okay,
time.
so Devil May Cry 2. This game definitely is a little bit, I would say, underrated as far as speedruns go. This is a few years in the future after the events of Devil May Cry 1. Dante is really coming into his own as a devil hunter at this point. He's really embraced the legacy of his father, Sparta, and he's got a few new tricks up his sleeve, one of which is a dedicated dodge button. Loner is going to be using this dodge for most of the movement in the run.
Correct.
Until we get access to a few other things, such as like the flight, but we'll get into that in a second. So red orbs, as per usual, going to be the primary currency that we're getting throughout the course of the run, and they're pretty important to buying some abilities and stuff. These enemies right here, we're not really worried about them. We're just going to go on by
Except
them.
orb manipulation.
Yeah, that's true, orb manipulation. So the first fight here, Loner is going to be using an orb manipulation technique, which is something that we had to consult the Japanese guide for the game on and find out how to cycle through the ranks in a way that allowed the game to actually just spit out like 16 times the orbs that it usually does. I don't remember the exact ranks for it, but he's got to cycle, I think, through like E, C, and A. For the first thing. There's going to be some specific things here, so it might not look like the fastest cycles in the world, but yeah, here we go. So Dante's got his trusty sword Rebellion. This is actually the first appearance of Rebellion in the Devil May Cry series. Not the first appearance of Ebony and Ivory, though. There are definitely, I think, some infamous weapons in this game on the internet, but they'll be making only a limited appearance.
It failed.
These enemies here, they're called the Agon of Innis. They're just the basic enemy type in this game, sort of like your Impusas or your Hellcanas from the other games, or the Prides from DMC3. They're just like your basic cannon fodder, essentially. Dante's just going to clear them out real quick here, and we're going to move right into the second fight with an enemy called the Misra. Basically, the way you want to approach this room is clockwise. So you want to take enemies out in a clockwise fashion in order to maintain the perfect style ranks that you want. And of course, Loner's going to execute this flawlessly, like I know he always does.
Unfortunately, the first fight.
Primarily 1, 2, 3 Stinger, as well as a couple other techniques that Dante's got up his sleeve. He has a lot of interesting. So the way that this game works, you don't do like pause combos or any sort of that stuff like you would see in the rest of the Devil May Cry series. You actually have to hit left or right on the analog stick, and then do some attacks that way. I mean, Stinger is pretty much the same, the little sword dash there that you see. There's also everybody's favorite move during their casual playthrough, the machine guns on the Devil Trigger arms. But when I tell you that the power of that will be short-lived, trust me on it, okay? We'll get into it in a second here. For whatever reason, also, this is one of like the few fights in the game, if not the only fight, that just drops a key randomly. The development on this game, by the way, was only about 6 months for the bulk of the game. So there's concepts in this game that kind of get introduced and then quickly thrown out the window. The key right there being one of it. It's like, yeah, this is the sequel to Devil May Cry 1, but so we gotta have keys, right? But no, it's very short-lived.
So just to clarify, I unfortunately failed the orb manipulation because the combo after that, the Agni Phoenix did not cooperate, and my style rank dropped a bit. But it's okay, we still have a backup strategy for that, for our current route at least. Except the price of one Devil Star being gone.
Not too crazy though. So we're gonna actually take down these statues here. There's gonna be a specific combo that Loner's gonna do on these statues, because most of this there's a little bit of a lull period here at the beginning of the run, kind of where you're moving through the beginning levels. The game's trying to introduce you to different mechanics, trying to get you to look around the environments and explore, etc. But we're not doing any of that. We're just spearheading through to get to the meat of the game. We want to power up, get stronger, etc. This next room here, this door right here is one of like 2 doors in the whole game that you actually have to interact with in order for it to do things. You have to get the light puzzles or the light wheels here. You have to hit 8 lights. And ideally you would get a 2 cycle on this. Unfortunately, Loner got a bad pattern, so it's gonna be a 3 cycle. But all he's got to do is the first 2 strikes with the Sword Rebellion into the Singer, and that is probably, I gotta say, like that's like 0 calorie Stinger. But we're gonna roll with it. It'll be okay, I promise.
Well, it has an iframe, so unlike
it does
most
have
of the
iframes. Yeah, I'll give it that. That's fair. The next thing here, Loner's going to be just knocking down another statue in order to open up this hallway with these bats here. We're going to ignore the bats, though. Otherwise, that would be a bat-tastrophe. And I, for one, am not really about that. So he's going to move a little bit to the side here in order to bait the bats to come out of the corner, which is going to make it a little bit easier for him to do that. So there we go. There's a little spin right there. He goes right into the corner. And there's also like a little pit that's coming up right here that we're going to just jump over. A neat trick here, and by trick I say a mechanic that the game never bothers to explain to you, is that you can actually disable the lock-on in this game by holding down R2 or right trigger. And that's actually what we use to destroy the wheel here while the enemy's all around us. Otherwise, if you tried to do this with lock-on, Dante will always prioritize the fire mages here, or the pyromancers, over that light wheel. Once we move through that room, I think you grab the cache in this room, right?
Yes, since we failed orb manipulation.
Yeah. So this next room here not only has a safety orb cache that Loner talked about earlier, which are little pockets of extra orbs that are hidden throughout the game, but it also has this pad for Devil Trigger, and now we can actually talk about Devil Trigger at length. Every Devil May Cry has a Devil Trigger of some kind. It's Dante's powered up form, allows you to do more damage, and with the right upgrades, fly, he runs faster, just base, but with the right upgrades he runs even faster. Also, these goats here, they're not exactly the goats, if you know what I mean. The one on the right here is always going to drop down, and then Dante's just going to take him to Duff City, population him, and then he's just going to fire on the one up top there, and that's going to unlock an upgrade called the Aerial Heart. This game, Devil Trigger, has a bunch of upgrades that you can get for it. Primarily, there's 2 upgrades for one of the slots, Aerial Heart and Quick Heart, but Quick Heart we're not actually worried about. Aerial Heart, literally just like it sounds, it's going to allow us to fly. Where is it at?
There we go.
Is it...
For some reason, it refused to pop up.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Good stuff. Okay.
I was like,
so
hello?
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So now we're just going to fly on out. That's a little bit of a safety strat there since he did fail the orb manipulation. But we're going to keep on trucking. The next thing that Loner's going to be doing is upgrading Rebellion to level 2. In this game, contrary to the rest of the series, you don't actually upgrade moves for these weapons. You actually just boost their stats, which is kind of cool.
And you also get
Go ahead.
And you also get an attribute for Elemental Heart upgrade as well. So it's not just the base power attack. For example, that for the base Electro Heart, at the final hit of the combo you get 3 blast. Each of the upgrade it gives you even more extra blast. And for the Flame Heart you get even more wide image of the hitbox, while the Frost Heart it will just increase the enemy freeze time.
Very cool. So you saw Loner taking damage there from the door. This is going to set up a quick kill on this boss using a form called Majin Devil Trigger. And this is the red Tear Stone ring type mechanic that Loner was referring to earlier. Basically, Dante needs to be in red health in order to activate this power. And you see it right there. And the reason that we upgrade Rebellion here while he just absolutely decimates the Gorilla boss here is because when you upgrade weapons, it actually increases the damage that you do in Majin Devil Trigger related to whatever type of weapon you're upgrading. So if you upgrade Ebony and Ivory's gunshots, it will increase the power of the fireballs. However, contrary to popular belief, guns are not the strongest form of damage in this game. Melee is. So we're going to upgrade that melee attack, get more power on those melee strikes, and just totally take out the boss.
And you will see
the
about
second boss
that move.
here. I don't know how to describe her. She's a bit of a snake, but I feel like that's not a clever enough insult. So we'll just keep going. Loner's going to also disable lock on here to bust through this wall and just totally ignore the misers. This is one of the only skips in the game. It's called Quick Heart Skip because you skip the Quick Heart. Normally what you would want to do is go into this little building that's off in the distance here, do a fight, and then grab the Quick Heart from inside, activate this light wheel, and then run inside to the boss fight. However, with the power of the dedicated dodge button...
Fun fact, you don't even need that.
You don't need any of that. You can just literally roll through this gate. I've actually seen somebody do this.
You could actually use base Devil Trigger run.
You could use the base Devil Trigger run. For whatever reason, they decided to include the Quick Heart, and it's just totally not needed for this. They gave that gate a lot of time. A lot of time. So the big thing here with this boss is that she has some poison gas around here. That's that big purple haze that you see. Shout outs to Jimi Hendrix. And Loner's just going to be taking some damage from it continually. Once again, to get into that red health, you see that health management is a huge part of going fast in this game. And then he's just going to be, again, taking her to the cleaners. So here we go. Once again, boom, busting out the arm blades. Beyblade, let it rip. She is going to be spinning in her grave. And that's the Medusa down.
All hail the
Dante's
lightsabers.
also going to get a pretty sick motorcycle. Unfortunately, we don't ever get to use it, but we do get to use it in Devil May Cry 5. So if you want to use a motorcycle for a weapon, play Devil May Cry 5. And it looks a lot better than that one, I've just got to say. So we also get the shotgun, which is probably the best gun in this game, period. It's going to allow us to do a lot of knockback on enemies, just do a lot of burst damage in general, as well as have shotgun cancels. Loner's also going to grab a purple heart for here, which is going to not only increase the amount of Devil Trigger that he can have at maximum, but also refill his Devil Trigger at the start of the mission. There's also these wolves here. They're pretty good boys, but we got to take them out for the good of the people in order to save the world. And I hope all the dog lovers out here understand that this is for the good of humanity. Loner is also going to be target switching quite a bit here. That is because if you put too much damage into these enemies, they're going to just straight up stun, and then you're going to lose a lot of Devil Trigger time and DPS to their iframes from the stun.
It is also known as
Go ahead.
It is also known as an armor mechanic. Once the armor level exceeds beyond that the default value, like once it reaches to 0, it's a stun guaranteed.
Nice. Alright, so these guns right here, or not the guns, the goats here, the blood goats. Loner, you see, just using the shotgun to immediately put him into a knockdown state in order to do some proper cycles there on him. They gave him a little bit of trouble, but you know, he's got his trusty shotgun right here. There you see the shotgun cancels, switching from one weapon, switching from the pistols to the shotgun, allowing him to pump out even more damage, canceling that recoil animation. Who does this guy think he is? I don't even know who he's messing with. He's messing with the Lonerhero. Also, this bird right here, what does he think he's doing, man? Come on. This man's fought much worse than some birds. So, moving into the next room, we're going to be rolling out, courtesy of Fred Durst. Just keep rolling. And we're going to be fighting some tanks. There's a gorilla again. We can just literally walk by him. Shoutouts to Shinobi, by the way, for the demonic machinery trope. Shinobi PS2, to be exact. Great game. So, these enemies here, there's a little bit of RNG involved. You see it's kind of kicking in right now. The machine guns that are on top of these tanks can really just put a hurting on Dante, and Loner wants to be able to strike freely in order to build DT, so he's going to play it a little bit safe right here, because the damage on them adds up quite a bit. A lot of people I see kind of stand in front of these tanks and just, you know, swing at them from underneath. Unfortunately, that doesn't do a whole lot of damage, doesn't really build a whole lot of style either. And you just want to hit the eye on top of the tank, and that's what'll clean them up for you. So after moving from that second tank, we're going to move on to the third one. Pretty much the same thing right here, and then we'll actually get introduced to everybody's favorite boss here in a second. The great meme himself. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. I think the tank should be getting cleaned up. What's up?
Oh, just wondering when a good time for a quick incentive promotion here.
Well, I can just say the line, and then I promise it's clever, and then you can do these. So the infested chopper. Again, shout outs to Infested Machinery, everybody's favorite boss on the internet. Okay, Tierna, take it away.
So we haven't done any donations as of yet, but I know that we can bring that in, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we still have Super King Andy, the dog percentage ending for his Silent Hill 2 coming up, so we just want to make sure that everybody knows that and adds their donation in for that.
Very cool. Get them donations in, people. Also, I think that Loner's about to use Cable's Hyper Viper Beam from Marvel vs. Capcom. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that right there is actually a really sick cutscene skip. That's one of my new favorite things that Loner showed me recently. So, by going into Majin form there and then flying to the top of the room, not only does he set up for a really, really fast kill in the upcoming fight because he's going to already be near low health, but if you kill the chopper there, it will instantly teleport you across the roof, and you save a few seconds on it. It's just really cool looking. So there, you also see Loner using the gunshots here. There is a reason for that. You gain a little bit of height off of each one that you do. We call these gun jumps, and you can actually skip a little bit of platforming with those too. So this boss right here, casually, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to strike the missiles and build DT off of them. And what you see a lot of people do instead is just kind of fire at it for like 3 minutes until it's dead. But we're going to use the Majin form again, hopefully. It's not being super cooperative, so Loner's going to have to fly into the blades there. And here we go. Majin form again. And he's going to line up with the eyeball. Take him down.
That's okay. That's not an issue. I'll just have to wait for the missile. There we go.
Alright, that's fine. Yep.
Oh, whatever.
Very good, I suppose. Very good. Infested chopper ahoy.
Like, that's the risk of using the Devil Star strat. You're just gonna straight up lose time from it. So I'm literally just hoping for missiles to spawn again so I can build DT very easily. There you go. Now we can just shoot him off at that very last HP. We actually lost about 20 or 30 seconds here. So
yeah, this is normally not what's supposed to happen. Normally you're just supposed to take him down. That's why if you're not as good as Loner like I am. You use the Devil Star on this fight in order to cycle it quickly. But Loner is a Chad, so he's not going to do that. He's going to save it for later. Moving into mission 6 here. This boss is just a straight up skyscraper. I don't have anything to say to that, but it's going to fire this giant mouth beam that Loner's going to use to bring his health down for Majin in the second phase. He's going to be using the shotgun cancels there, as you see, to build up some Devil Trigger, as well as just taking the, as well as doing a decent amount of damage here, and getting to some pretty dicey health. But he's going to also go up into the mouth of it, and then just start using air raid there. This is a very precarious spot to be in, especially at Loner's house, but he's going to be doing some high times here, really just trying to stay alive right now so that he can get the Majin. Y'all have no idea like how risky this is right now. He's playing this like so close to the chest. But he told me he was going for everything in the marathon. He really wanted to show off everything that is in this game. This damage is just wild. So boom. That, by the way, I forget the name of it. I want to say it's like Supernova. That is a map-wide explosion that Dante
Doomsday.
can do in Majin Devil Trigger.
It's called Doomsday.
It's called what?
Doomsday.
Doomsday. That's a way better name than Supernova. So, Doomsday Eternal, the sequel to Doomsday, is, like I said, it's a map-wide explosion where Dante just deals a ton of damage in an area, but it consumes the rest of his Majin Devil Trigger, so Loner just use it there to just take out the boss. Moving into this factory section here, a lot of the environments in this game are cities and factories and stuff. They really leaned in heavy into the sort of like industrial influences in this game, really kind of trying to move away from the more like medieval fantasy settings that we saw in DMC1. Dante is on a mission, I should clarify, to take down this evil corporate businessman named Arius, who believes that he is a god, like most corporate businessmen do, I suppose. And that right there, that Loner hit, that little light wheel there, we're going to come back to that in a second. That is called the Flame Heart. It's another upgrade for the Devil Trigger. It increases the amount of damage that we do in Devil Trigger. Before that, we're going to, take another nod from Dark Souls here and just, roll down the stairs and hop across this room, and he's going to be activating an elevator. Or I guess it would be an escalator. A platform, there we go. A descending platform. That was the word that I was looking for. So he's going to activate that, and then he's going to be running into some other rooms. And while he's in those other rooms collecting not only that flame heart that we were talking about, he's going to be collecting a new sword called the Vendetta. All of Dante's weapons in this game are just additional long swords. Vendetta has a smaller hitbox than Rebellion, but it does deal more damage. This was actually a glitch that they fixed in the HD collection. In the PS2 version of the game, the weapons had very similar damage output, and it was variable, but they did fix it in this version of the game so that Vendetta does deal a significant amount more damage than Rebellion. Loner's going to use that Devil Trigger pad there to fill up just enough so that he can fly to the top here in order to get the Flame Heart. And the Flame Heart is also going to refill his Devil Trigger in addition to immediately equipping itself. So then once he actually heads back into this room, he's going to be doing another fight where he's going to hopefully be doing the orb manipulation again. Tierna, if you've got anything, this is a little bit of a downtime in the run.
Yes, actually, we have a couple of new donations in.
Nice!
Yes, we have a £10, 67 pence donation from Texan. I didn't like the decimal. And then the second one we have is a £5 donation from A Shiba Inu. Bork.
Very cool.
Nice.
Awesome. So, like I said, Loner is going to be hoping to do another orb manipulation here, so he's letting a little bit of the enemies spawn into the room so that when he does cycle them, he can actually cycle through The and when I say cycle, I mean defeat them. When he does deplete their health, it will be as more enemies are spawning into the room. So he's got plenty of enemies to stagger the styles off of, keep building them if he needs to, and then he starts seeing a lot more of these orbs dropping.
We got it.
Right around this point.
We got it.
Oh, good. Very nice. Excellent. So now is when we start seeing a lot of orbs dropping. And he's going to be coming out of this. There we go. Now you start seeing, yep. I know I've said that like 3 times, but I needed to reassure myself. Don't worry about it. This train here is actually going to take us to the end of the factory, and then it's going to lead to an elevator where we're going to fight the next boss. And that fight's going to go by pretty quick, so I'll explain it right now. Essentially, what Loner's going to do is buy another purple orb to refill his Devil Trigger, and he's going to equip Vendetta at that point. And Vendetta is going to allow him to loop the boss's stun back on itself. So the boss is pretty much, ideally, never going to get to play. Also, Loner's showing off some of the hidden techniques in this game. There's a lot that this game doesn't explain about itself, like that shoulder tackle there. This is actually where the move Fireworks originated from as well, from the gunslinger style. There's a lot in this game that sort of shows off the beta for what was later polished in DMC3. Also, fun fact: if you play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, this is where his crouching heavy punch comes from as well. So here comes the end of the elevator. I think you can skip a little bit of this by doing a gun jump as well. There it is. And fly right to the end there. This boss is a load of bull, and I mean it's a very giant bull.
Is it okay if I interrupt
Go
for
ahead.
just a moment?
Go for it, yeah. Go for it.
We just got another donation in with 15 pounds, and it says 1K height.
Hey, 1K.
And we got to that part, and we just want to be able to bring awareness to everybody that there's an RE5 costume poll out there as well. So please, keep those donations coming in.
So here we go. Like I said, boss is going to be just totally wrecked. It did do the an unfortunate move right there where
that
it
jump.
Just decide to ignore the stun that Loner's kind of laid on it, and then he's just going to combo it to death, and the boss is just going to go down. This next mission is also sort of a like a downtime period in the run. Loner's just going to be backtracking through the factory in order to get to, I guess, just out of it. They decided to put the Capcom escape sequence in this game a little bit early. The timer, that has just clearly way too much time on it to be even remotely worrying. And everything around you just totally collapsing as well.
I feel so awake playing this game.
Yeah. There's also this that we're going to grab up, the offense heart. That's going to give Loner all of his Devil Trigger back. The offense heart, again, is going to increase the amount of damage that we deal in Devil Trigger. So you see right here, through very basic mechanics that are in the game, we've really kind of doubled our damage output in Devil Trigger, which makes Devil Trigger in this game really the big thing that you want to abuse. Devil Trigger on just very, very high burst moves, like the Million Stab that you saw there that Loner did. I forgot to talk about that too. So Dante has a bunch of moves in this game that are only accessible in Devil Trigger. And the Million Stab that you saw there, you have to do 2 strikes while in Devil Trigger and then hit left or right on the left analog stick and then melee as well for the 3rd hit. And that will allow you to then mash to do the Million Stab. Normally it would consume a lot of Devil Trigger, but Loner exiting Devil Trigger there as the Million Stab is initiating allows him to do it without Devil Trigger. And that just allows him to get a bunch of DPS down on the boss pretty free. The plane right here that you have to get to crash into the wall has a missile launcher in it. But fun fact, we don't use it anymore in this run.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the first optimizations I think that Loner did. Was I think I spitballed it to him, and I was like, I would believe you if you could just route the missile launcher out of the game, and he goes, give me like a little bit, and then he routed the missile launcher out. So now the only guns we actually have during the run are the pistols and the shotgun. The missile launcher is just slow. So
not only slow, it's also miss.
What's up?
It's also miss. Like if you miss a shot and then you lose a lot of DPS right there compared to Ebony and Ivory and the shotgun.
Yeah, that's very true. So this puzzle right here, you just kind of have to hit 2 light orbs, and then you go down to this arena here. You want to exit into the underground, and then the game sucks you underneath to an arena where you're going to fight a big moth boss. Fun fact about this boss, it shoots out a bunch of larvae. And on the PS2 version of the game, you can shoot the larvae while they're in their small form, but on each day collection, that's not the case. There's actually a glitch with this version where you cannot kill the larvae while they're in like the very, very baby mode. So we are forced to actually deal with all the larvae that spawn while we beat them off. So once we takes out these little enemies right here, the golems, they're headless golems, they shoot out spikes. And then he's going to actually be letting one of the larvae swallow him, and the way you actually get, the way you actually kill these larvae, the quickest is by mashing the buttons or rotating the analog stick out of them.
No, you don't.
You know, escape thing.
Oh, never mind.
Uh-oh.
I thought I would kill that hatch, but oh well.
Oh no. So then the moth right there gonna go down. Again, now he's gonna use good old Cable's Hyper Viper Beam from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I forget the actual name of this move in this game. What's up?
Leviathan. That's the name of
Leviathan.
the move.
That's a very weird name. Leviathan. That's very strange. So then it's okay, moving on. He's gonna let these larvae swallow him. Unfortunately, they're being pretty nice. They're cooperating very well, and they're just gonna let him just take them out. You just have to wiggle out of them as quickly as possible.
They're literally
if they're sort of like going up and down like this, that's when you really just want to lay into them with the shotgun or with Vendetta.
Fun fact: if you time your devil trigger by the end of this fight, your game will crash.
Very cool.
Yeah, this game has a very interesting conflict whenever you DT and all of that. So teleportation is one of them.
Is that an HD collection thing?
Yes.
Or is that like on PST? Oh my goodness.
That's a HD
good
collection
old
thing.
HD collection. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this boss right here, we call him the cameraman. Which I'll get into in a little bit. This is also like a very Tomb Raider section of the game. Dante is going down into these underground ruins, and he's going to get chased by a giant ball. This is also the most infamous room in the game. Those tiles, man. Oh my goodness. They're nightmare fuel. So, this boss right here is called Bulwark, and it's probably one of the coolest bosses in the game. If you look into the lore of this game, Bulwark actually fought Sparta at least once or twice. Unfortunately, this boss also doesn't say a word throughout the entire game. So we don't actually get to experience this. We don't get to really see the significance of, you know, him in relation to Dante. Instead, we get to just find out that he has some very good boys with him, those dogs from Mission 5. And the game will always prioritize the dogs or the wolves until you finish them off, but finishing them off is slow, and we want to just kill Bulwark. So the reason that we call him the cameraman is because he's always controlling your camera, or rather the wolves are. There's this giant spike pit right here. Loner's really just going to roll forward and use the million stab technique in order to get through this wall here. And boom, we're out of there scot-free.
That's one of
There's also a skip right here with Aerial Heart, where you can actually just skip all the platforming here by just flying up to the top. The submachine guns, are off in like another room, but you don't really need them. You can hold down the fire button with them, but they do so much. They do so little damage per shot that it's really not worth it. So here is the dogs right here. As you can see, the camera is clearly not focused on Bulberg. Loner is using a move called Aerial Rave or Round Trip, where in Devil Trigger, if you can throw the sword while you're in flighted state. Now he's trying to wrestle with the camera here.
The doggo saved his life. The doggo saved him. Like, he saw all the dogs pushed me away.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, Loner. You know how it is. Okay, so let's see here.
I can't afford Devil Star against the Smalls, unfortunately.
F. So the next boss, Pluto, is preceded by one of the stranger fights in this game, where you really got to bust out the trigonometry book and really focus on taking down these triangles, understanding what makes them tick. The Sargasso from DMC1 also randomly appear here. This game's wild, okay? This game's wild. So Loner that you see there with expert precision definitely busted out the protractor for that fight and cleaned it up as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then he's going to move into the actual boss fight against the boss called Pluto, who wields ball and chain on both of his arms. And this boss's hitboxes are either really, really good or really not. But Loner there is just going to roll on through it. You see there, just going to take a little bit of damage. Not really too crazy, honestly, because of the amount of Devil Trigger Loner has. It still builds a little bit of Devil Trigger as well to get hit. And he's just going to use the Million Stab there. Unfortunately, Pluto did not get stunned, but he's just going to keep using Million Stab here. And the lasers in the room are going to be really nice. They're just not going to hit us. And he's down.
They're always fixed pattern.
Yep. I knew that. I swear.
I mean, you have a lot of knowledge of the game. You just, like, an execution. It's like, I know a lot about this game at this point, you know?
Okay, so what's next here? Is this Arius?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Arius, this is the corporate businessman that we've been hunting down this whole game. He summons demons. He has a magnum. I won't lie, he's got kind of a drip with that cape, the white suit and the cigar, the nice slick back hair, really looking like the Mishima hairstyle right there going on. But you know, we just don't jive with him. He's really just trying to bring hell to earth, and that's just not cool. He went down really fast.
Except that shield meme.
Yeah, he's super fast. Okay, so this mission right here, we're going to be using the Devil Stars that we picked up on the last mission. And Loner has to take out some light orbs in order to open up a wheel, or open up a door here. He's going to be using the kick cancel mechanics here. In this game, you can, by the way, you can cancel air attacks into each other in the air as long as you have lock-on enabled or you have an enemy to lock on to. Lucia can do this, can use this a lot, but Dante primarily can use it to cancel his jump kicks in the air into themselves. So we don't waste any Devil Trigger or anything, really trying to do Helm Breakers or anything, nothing
just
like that. There's
also,
also, this is the only glitch in the run. If you run up the wall here, in this room, all the enemies just straight up despawn. We have no idea why this works. I think it might have been a debug thing that was left in. Fortunately, what this does allow us to do is just lock straight onto the light orb and just take it out pretty much immediately. Nice and smooth. That sword right there is called Merciless. It has a larger hitbox than both Vendetta and Rebellion, but it does less damage, and we're all about the damage, so we're not going to do that. This orb right here is probably the most annoying to grab up, just because it's surrounded by a ton of enemies and there's no convenient despawns for us to take advantage of. So Loner's got to once again disable lock on, and he's going to do a roll right into a Devil Trigger, and that's going to put him right above the ground in order to do 2 aerial raids or 2 sword swings, or sword spins, sword throws, and totally take out the wheel there. Next, he's going to be actually, once again, disabling lock-on and flying above these mages in order to take out the last wheel. And then he's going to actually head into a very familiar boss for everyone here. And that boss's name is Phantom of DMC1 fame.
Long time no
Once
see.
again, you know, the DMC1 references that pop up in this game, they're a little bit out of place, but like I said, 6-month development time, so we're going to cut them a little bit of slack. Phantom here is a little bit of a pushover compared to DMC1 because it stuns so easily. See, Loner's going to make quick work of it by using the advanced combos there, by using the forward tilt of the analog stick in Devil Trigger as well as Stinger. Really just hacking away at it, slowly building up Devil Trigger and doing a lot of DPS. Are you ready? Showtime. And that is Phantom.
This mission.
This mission right here, also sort of a downtime period in the run. There's a timer that you have to kill all of these enemies in the area by within 4 minutes. So if you mess this mission up, you lose 4 minutes on a run. It's pretty brutal. There's nothing too crazy going on though. Just if Loner gets it, there's another Majin strat. So if we have time for some donations and stuff, or any sort of like advertising that needs to be done.
Yes, actually, we do have a new donation in. We have a donation from Dark Texan Red Wolf at £2.47.
No, not the green. Not the green.
Says, I am Texan Red Wolf's long lost brother. We were separated at birth, being each other's perfect opposite. Where he seeks order, I seek chaos, construction, destruction. Now quiver in fear at the obnoxity, uneven donation count.
Oh no. Well, hopefully the mighty hero Texan Red Wolf will be there to restore balance once again. And we will not have the decimal. Thank you so much for that donation, by the way. Much love. This, by the way, as you can see, Loner's just really making quick work of all these enemies here, and just going to use Doomsday again to clear them out. Really nice strat there, taking damage from the doors there. That was actually sort of a recent addition to the run, using the damage taken from those doors to activate Majin. Really, really cool stuff. A lot of this run, the health management in it is just really, really cool to see, and something that you can really admire about Loner's play is just how consistently he gets to these proper thresholds of health.
Come on.
I had to gas you up. Okay. It just had to happen. So, the Abyss Goats here, these are the final form of the goats. They have quite a bit of health, but they still falter to the shotgun and to the invincibility frames on the Devil Trigger there. Currently working with about a minute left. I think this is probably the last wave. And Majin Devil Trigger again. Ironically, I think Majin actually means devil, so this is like Devil Trigger. Don't ask me why. I don't name things, but then there's Doomsday again, and that's going to take out all of them. Wow, actually, okay. I thought that was it.
No, they spawned pretty late, and overall it's really, what, I don't know. I just don't know what to think about this mission.
It's a weird mission, yeah.
We're
gonna go.
I got very spoiled with PS2 version.
So, to clarify, on the PS2 version of this game, you can actually clip right to the bottom of this mission with a glitch by clipping through one of the eyeballs there on the outer border. They fixed this, unfortunately, on HD Collection, so otherwise we would have a nice 4-minute time save, and this game would almost probably get to the sub 40 range, but alas. Oh, that's right, I forgot about the Blood Goats here. They have quite a bit of health. Loner's really just going to use these guys to build up a little bit more style meter, get a few extra orbs off of them, and then this level has 2 bosses. We're going to actually do a run back with Balvark. He was a little bit salty at how he got washed the first time around, so he has once again contacted the help of the good doggos in order to try and take down Dante, the legendary Devil Hunter, from the Shin Megami Tensei series.
Oh my god.
Coming soon to a Switch near you. And in this elevator here, Loner's actually just going to be taking damage the whole time to set up for a Majin kill on Balvark. We used to just kill all these enemies in here, but once we started incorporating more Majin into the route, it was just necessary to sacrifice the orbs you would normally get from this fight, and then just get into the red health. Now he's just kind of got to stay, away from them, use the knockback on the shotgun, and then just wait for the elevator to come out, and then we can just move on through. There's a little bit of like platforming, or I guess you would call it platforming.
Platforming, yeah.
In that you have to jump 4 times in a row in order to avoid some orbs. And if you get hit by one of these orbs, it takes you to an arena where you have to fight some additional enemies. And it looks a little bit intimidating at first, but like I said, he's just gonna pretty much just jump 4 times here.
It's very intense, especially when you're at the red health. Like you have to bear with it. There is a safe alternative though. Like
he's gonna pick up this thing. I forget what that thing's called there.
What?
That heart. Is it just called the heart?
No. It was something else. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, you're running with the Japanese text. Okay, so.
Yeah.
I think there's just fewer characters in the Japanese text, so just a little bit of time saved there. But here we go. We're going to move on into the bulwark fight. Once again, the game is going to prioritize the dogs, or the wolves. And we have to kind of maneuver around that in order to kill Bulwark himself. But with the power of Krispy Kreme donuts and the Majin Devil Trigger, we're just going to take him out. So he once again got washed, not only by Sparta, but by the son of Sparta. The sacrilege, that's what it's called. So Loner's going to go ahead and refill his health here, and he's going to set up for another Majin kill on the Trismagia boss, or Tri-Face. You guessed it, Trismagia has 3 faces. And they all have elemental weaknesses as well as elemental properties. Fortunately for us, Majin Devil Trigger does not have an element attached to it. So we can use it to nuke Trismagia regardless of what element we have equipped or what element is currently the weak head, because only one head is vulnerable at a time. And that's what kind of would make this fight RNG during some of the earlier stages of this run. However, we're going to take out this goat, because in case he hadn't heard, we're gamers, so he better step off. And then we're going to use the Mortivinus in order to take down our health. And he's going to try and get into the red health again here. This is a little bit more sketch because these enemies tend to stack up and do a lot of damage. There's also going to be a health orb right outside of this elevator, so he's got to be a little bit careful in terms of the movement. Very nice. And then we're going to move into the Trismagia fight, and he's going to be able to one-cycle this boss with Majin Devil Trigger. Once he finds out what the vulnerable head is, he's going to be able to take it down. So I think he's found it. Okay. It's going to be the red head there. Take it down with some fireballs. And then use the good old Leviathan. The fish beam. And then all he's got to do here is dodge one attack, which is going to be this giant fireball. But fortunately, the dodge rolls in this game have a ton of iframes. And there he goes. And boss down. This is going to be, this next fight here is just sort of like a repeat of the Arius fight. He's got a couple new tricks up his sleeve, a couple new friends along the way. But before we get into the final fight, if there's any new donations or anything that have come in, that would be a good time.
We do not actually have any new donations in, but we do still have the bid war for the costumes, and we also have the incentive for the dog percentage, so keep those donations in.
So Arius has contacted the help of his secretaries. They look a little bit familiar to or a little bit similar to the other playable character in this game, Lucia. I won't spoil that for all of you. Oh, this is also the best cutscene in this game.
I have to do that.
So I'm just going to let this play out. Yeah, you got to let this go. The voice acting is just stellar.
You have to do that.
Here's your crown.
By the way,
What a
time is on the moment you see the final cutscene of the game. Like, literally
Yeah, the
after
time's
this.
gonna be coming up in a couple of minutes here. So the final boss of this game is in 2 stages. The first is called Argo Sax the Chaos, and it is not only a combination of all the bosses that we fought up to this point, but for some reason Griffin from Devil May Cry 1 also makes an appearance. They just kind of threw him in here as well. But you guessed it, Majin Devil Trigger is going to be coming in clutch in order for us to cycle this boss properly. So
Got a
Loner's going to be
pretty-
taking...
Bad RNG though.
Oh yeah, it's pretty unfortunate there, those shotgun blasts. So he's going to be just taking a little bit of damage here from the... Or a lot of damage, I should say, from the good old...
Oh my.
Oh boy, this is a little bit sketch. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Very cool. And here we go. This is also, I should say, the first appearance of the move called Lunar Phase. You might recognize it from Virgil in DMC 3 and DMC 4. That little spin that Loner did. That's the first time you actually see it in the series. But he's just going to use the Majin Devil Trigger here in order to take down all of them. He's going to also be consuming all of these Devil Stars that he bought, because as long as you still have Devil Trigger filled, you're still in Majin form. So he's going to just keep cycling through them, take out all the bosses here. And here comes Griffin. Griffin's got a lot of health. Boom, good old Fish Beam, Leviathan, Hyper Viper Beam. That is a very long
Perfect.
Very nice.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Also, okay, so to get into it now, the final boss here is called Despair Embodied. It's definitely the best boss in this game. It can change form from feminine to masculine looking, and it has different attacks depending on what it does, or what form it is in. Loner is just going to take it out, and time is going to come up. Loner, you're going to have to call for it.
Time. What time was that?
Boom. And that is Devil May Cry 2, new game, Devil Hunter. Or new game, normal Dante, I'm sorry.
Oh god. I have no words, but
That was a really clean run.
yeah, I mean, all things considered, how it went. Like, there are some things that I'm like, ugh, like a bit sketchy about it, like the chopper or like this final boss setup, but it was a pretty satisfying one. So
It's like final time was a 49-16.
49-16. I figured it'd be that, considering the chopper and considering some of the setups that went and all unfortunate events.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a shout out to all the people who encouraged me to join this marathon. And you should probably take a look at the DMC speedrun community and maybe run DMC 1. You won't regret it. So
You should take a look at this game too. This game's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I have a lot of things to say, but yeah, thanks for having me around, especially with this game. Really appreciate it. So that's all. Like that's it. That's all I have to say.
Thanks for running this for us. That was amazing. It was great to see all that stuff and hearing all that wonderful commentary for the game. We appreciate you guys coming out and being a part of this.
No problem.
Absolutely.
That's my pleasure.